Folks, welcome to an all new So Bad It's Good. This is Real Housewives of Orange County edition, baby. We're back in the OC. We're on episode 3. Can you believe that? We had the first 2 episodes and I watched them. And, I talked about them just a little bit. I meant to go way more into it, but Vanderpump Rules happened. I got sick. Life happened. Just like the beautiful life these ladies are living in the Real Housewives of Orange County. But listen, we're probably going to be recapping this season and we're going to start now. We're going to see how it goes. Bear with me. I don't really have my voices locked in, even though John Jansen, if you remember, I did OC last season, and John Jansen is my favorite Real Housewives of Orange County character, Shannon Bedore's, ex-boyfriend now. But he was always to me, he was like buttoned up angry. He'd be like, I'm John Jansen. I'm John Jansen, damn it. And I know that's not really him, but to me, he always just seemed like he was ready to burst potentially. So every time you watch John Jansen from this point on, just always just in your mind go, this guy's about to burst. They're at a crystal shop in one of the scenes, and I shit you not, Shannon's on the phone, FaceTiming with Tamara, as you do at a crystal store. And you can see John Jansen in the background, like angrily staring at crystals. It's like, amethyst. I'm John Jansen, damn it. So Orange County is back. It is back, baby. It didn't have like the insane start that last season did, because we had Heather Dubrow back. And we had that big sushi party where they threw out $30,000, like the GNP of a small country. They threw out that amount of sushi, could feed people for a year. They just threw it out. Like I pretty much just post up on weekends outside their house, hoping that I'll be able to feed my family for the next couple of years if I just go through their trash. Imagine their trash facility at that house. Like last episode, Heather Dubrow was sending her 2 kids off to college, and it looked like they were running a Costco out of that place. I was like, are they at a Staples? And it turned out it was their like garage. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I said this to you guys on Monday. I said, I went to ASU. My parents were like, here's a couple of folders and a calculator. Good luck. It was great raising you these last 18 years. But it's wild. I'm starting to enjoy this season, but I think you got to temper your expectations. You got to say, hey, this isn't Vanderpump Rules. This isn't Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is refreshing because I don't, call me crazy, and it's not Jersey. Like nobody is going to go to jail potentially this season. And I think, to me, we've got to get back to Housewives that you do not have to worry about that they will go to prison. Like Jersey, I shit you not. It's not even the Jersey people. The people on Twitter are going to send every one of those cast members of Real Housewives of New Jersey to prison. If somebody came to me tomorrow and said, would love for you to be on Jersey, I'd say, get the fuck out of town. I will never go on that show. I can't afford jail time right now. Mark my words, everybody that's ever been affiliated with Real Housewives of New Jersey, they're going to just build a prison just for any future or past castmates of Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's how serious it's gotten. And then you got Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You got the Erica Jane, Tom Girardi mess, which, by the way, did you see last week the Tom Girardi fit to stand trial? Great, good. It only took a couple of years. And then Jen Shaw, of course, serving prison time with Elizabeth Holmes right now. She's the one that was like, I invented Theranos. With this blood, I will cure everything in your body. You know that girl? She's in there with her now. So, housewives are usually now, unfortunately, a feeder system to get really good SpawnCon on Instagram or to go to prison. Those are usually there's no in between anymore. It's that or it's good SpawnCon, prison. Those are the 2 options if you get on a reality TV show. But Real Housewives of Orange County, if you temper your expectations, I found it enjoyable. I found these little moments, and I think that's what it took a couple of episodes to be like, okay, yeah, this is what Housewives is. Okay, just get into the enjoyment of these ladies, these characters. And I think even saying that, Tamara, you gotta get in, she's finding her sea legs. Last week's episode, they were on the boat at the end, and she was like, I'm Tamara, I'm screaming, fuck a duck. And it's like, chill out. And I think this episode, she finally started to get her reality show sea legs. And she's like, okay, I'm getting into it. I'm getting my bearings. And I think we're off to the races. I think, listen, I love the new cast member, Jen. We're going to get into her and Ryan. Jen and Ryan, very popular names in the OC. The other thing Ryan, I'm Ryan. But Ryans are all over Orange County. Tamara's son, Ryan, that was the only thing. I said I wanted Tamara to come back to Real Housewives of Orange County, but I just didn't want them to platform her son, Ryan. It was Ryan at all. I'm is it Culberson? No, that's Vic. Anyways, Ryan something. I didn't, we've seen Ryan's journey from the very beginning with Tamara, with her ex. Remember the tattoo? Remember, like we saw his journey, and it just every time you would have Tamara coming on and going, he's really found himself this time, and then something horrible would happen. And if you saw his views, not only on the show but outside of the show, it wasn't just like Republican Democrat. It was much deeper. There was like weapons involved. There was uh, slurs. Just it was just really a mess. It was really gross and really dirty, and it kind of crossed a line for me as a Housewives fan. And listen, I've seen Kelly Dodd, so I mean, I'm used to seeing some intense things, but he was really scary to me. And remember that one season when Ryan's hair just completely fell off his head? Even his hair was like, I do not want to be around you right now. So in this episode, he comes back. And I'm like, and you guys, he's dressed like fucking like a cowboy. I'm like, are we in Orange County? Where are we? I was like, oh my God, during COVID, Ryan must have discovered the television show Yellowstone, like all of us, and then made it his entire personality. He's got the cowboy hat. He's got the belt buckle. I don't know if there's open carry laws in OC, but I'm sure he's like, it's like, dude, you are in Orange County. You're literally, you get a surfboard right now. You didn't come in on a horse. Your name's not like Brick or, it was like, what are you doing, man? Like, why do you have spurs on? You're at Cut Fitness in the OC. We'll see what his journey is like. I don't know. I was just hoping that we would get, I liked Tamara's other son. I thought he was interesting. Always like to see Eddie, but I don't know, the Ryan thing kind of, we all have that little thing in our family. And especially I do empathize with Tamara in the sense that that is her son. So of course she's never going to give up on her son, but you got to kind of wonder, because Tamara is so knowledgeable about Housewives, that I wonder if that, is just like, oh shit, man. Like, but we all have that. We all have something in our family, not everything is smooth sailing. But I find it, because automatically then you platform this guy, people go check out his social media, and there's been some really weird messages in the past. And I think that sometimes can be really, really dangerous, but to each their own, right? I was thinking about this in terms of the Housewives archetypes that we have. And I mean archetypes not in the sense of a failed Meghan Markle podcast, but in just these character types. I was thinking why Shannon Beador works so well for me as a character is because Shannon Beador, she's in it, man. She really, this shit, like if Shannon takes everything seriously, she's like, I want to be friends with you, Tamara. Like Tamara, on the other hand, Tamara knows the game. Tamara is a strategic. Tamara is what I say, like, Housewives have sometimes become Survivor, the television show, because you like win the season, you're a fan favorite, you win, you make these moves. It's very interesting. And Tamara knows her. Tamara's smart in that sense. And that's why I think Tamara's also good at her podcast, because she knows how to talk about all of these other shows. She knows about production. She knows her way around this. And I don't sometimes believe that Tamara is as upset as she will seem when she's like, Shannon, I need your friendship. Shannon, I need it badly. I don't believe that. I think Tamara's one of the strongest women out there. She doesn't need shit. She just needs that big old Eddie dick. Sorry. It's late, you guys. But Shannon, on the other hand, why I think it's interesting, Shannon Beador, she doesn't play the game. I think what you see of Shannon is like, that's why if you've upset Shannon immediately, because she can't hide it. It's on her face. I can't believe you're doing this. She literally put crystals in her teeth. She had her teeth drilled into to put crystals in there to make it, to even out her personality. That's intense, you guys. Drilling holes in your teeth to make you more balanced, to put crystals, like, my God. Like, I mean, we don't have any crystals around. Shannon, open your mouth. I'm John Jensen. But that's why I think I appreciate Shannon, because Shannon, as much as she knows she's on a reality show, she's like, this is her life. She's fully in it. She doesn't want to fight with people, but people upset her. But Tamara, on the other hand, acts like she's affected by anything, but she's not. Tamara knows how to play that game. And so sometimes, even many seasons in, Shannon still doesn't get it. Shannon still doesn't get. Shannon will be like, Tamara, you played me for a fool. You went on every podcast and talked about me. And then Tamara will be like, I need you, Shannon. And Shannon will be like, I don't know. Okay, I need you too. I missed you. It's so fascinating. And you have Heather Dubrow. I am Heather Dubrow, and I talk like this, very enunciated. I love her because shit. I mean, like literally, she shits money. It is wild. Her and Terry Dubrow. They will. I mean, I wish the show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Remember, like I am Robin Leach, and welcome to Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Like Terry, their house it's a museum, and I mean just in the fact that it could fit a museum in it. And they have a personal chef. They have all of these kids. The kids don't seem to do anything, but the kids all seem really nice. And I just everything that you could possibly imagine. Yet Heather is like, we are starting to reintroduce ourselves to Beverly Hills. I love the fact that we are getting Heather Dubrow. What is her stage name? Heather Marie. So we'll get to it. And she wants to get back into the acting game. Because she did Little Hot in Cleveland. She was on a couple of failed sitcoms in the 90s, and she's a personality. And I love how seriously she takes herself. She's always drinking her champagne. She's got a champagne room, for the love of God. I mean, when they went and played pickleball, she had a gentleman behind her that brought in some champs after pickleball. I was like, my God, this is amazing exercise. So you have her, I'm Gina. What's going on, guys? I'm Gina. I can't do a Gina voice, but it's always crazy. What? Gina, for the love, I mean, I really like Gina, but sometimes it's a social experiment gone wrong because it feels like a punked episode where, you have to watch all of these ladies that are, in a different tax bracket. You're very nice. Travis seems like a very nice guy. Your kids seem awesome. You seem like a fun girl. When the cameras are off, you don't hang out with any of these other ladies except for Emily, because that's just not would not be your reality. But she comes in there with her raccoon-eyed makeup. She has like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome outfits this season, a lot of metal just everywhere. And you like her, but you're always like, what? What are we fully like? And I don't mean, because yeah, we all like her, right? Nobody dislikes Gina. Gina doesn't do enough for you to dislike her. And I'm not being mean. It's just that's it. But she has survived because the OC has been so up and down in terms of their casting. You're either Kelly Dodd or you're Gina. So people like Gina are always going to kind of get through because they don't know what they're doing with OC. So you usually get rid of the extreme, and you're like, well, that's a warm body, right? Of course, we're coming off the season of Noella doing everything that she's ever seen in a Housewife episode in the course of one season. And it was too much. The audience was like, what the F? Her lawyer ex-husband that you see on the billboards everywhere, they're done. And I feel like every housewife should get a second season, but Noella, it wore on me. I was like, gotta get ready to watch another episode of OC, knowing that it was going to take energy to watch Noella. She required that kind of energy from the audience. And that's why I like that we've started in this kind of more mellow, kind of like reacclimating to what Housewives potentially should be. I could be wrong. This could be a real stinker of the season, but I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not enjoying it as much as some of my compatriots. I know Danny Pellegrino is loving it. I know somebody else that I really respect really loves it. I like it. I'm hoping to love it. My heart is open. That's what I'm going to say. Emily Simpson. Now, Emily, you have Emily and Gina, that friendship, but Emily for me works because you got Shane, who they have that old married with children dynamic where they just hate each other. We just joke about how we hate each other. Shane finally passed the bar and is a lawyer. Shane kind of made a joke this episode where he was like, yeah, you calling me when I'm in front of the judge telling me to turn down the air from my phone when you can't get out of bed to do it, you lazy piece of shit. And I love that Shane is trying to make us believe he's like a trial attorney in the middle of like murder trials. It's like Sorry, Judge. But I like that relationship. And I got to tell you, Emily's hot. I think Emily is very attractive. Do you guys find Emily? I find Emily. Anyways, so you got that. And then Jen, the new girl, I talked about her last week a little bit because I just found I think there is so much play in her in terms of where we could go. I'm so fascinated with this relationship with this guy Ryan, who it seems like obviously she cheated on her ex-husband with, but it's a big secret that everybody knows, and she keeps holding. No, no, no. We were talking on the phone. And then it comes out this episode, they were caught in a car doing the hippity dippity potentially by the ex-husband. And then Tamra is that this is what I'm talking about. Tamra knowing the game. Tamra knows the game too well, where it's one of those things where if Tamra's like, I'd like to be friends with you, it's kind of like, don't go on Jersey and don't be friends with Tamra, because she will use everything you tell her against you at some point on the episode. So Tamra like really has got her lay of the land in terms of I could pick on Bedore more, or I brought this new girl Jen in and I could fucking take her to task for this whole cheating thing, get all the girls riled up. And then you got this girl Jen. Obviously, there's a lot going on up here in terms of she probably never cheated on her husband before. She doesn't know if she can trust this new guy, Ryan, even though she's let him into the home with the kids and the animals and all. But I find she's a yoga studio. She looks completely different. I think due to plastic surgery, she looks beautiful, but very different than the pictures they showed us. And that is something where you're like, oh, I need to know every piece of your story. So I think that is a great new casting. What do you got? Do you got like that as well? Which, by the way, I always ask, how are you? You guys good? Okay, good. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. It is nice to not talk about Vanderpump Rules, right? That's another good thing about Orange County. So I wanted to start with going over the taglines. The taglines, they didn't have it the first episode, but they had it on the second episode in this episode. Taglines at the very beginning, these are iconic. Now, I don't mean this season, but taglines for a housewife are very iconic. Usually what production will do, will let these ladies choose between like 3 or 4, and they'll even make them record a couple, and then they'll just put them on, and we'll go through these one by one. Now, Shannon Bedore, her tagline is, and the title card is Shannon, and she's like in this beautiful dress. She's got the 3 daughters. She's got Archie, her beautiful dog, and then she's got John Jansen. They're all smiling. And just spoiler alert, her and John Jansen split up after this season of Orange County filmed. I met John Jansen at BravoCon, and he seemed very like not bewildered. He seemed curious why a grown man seemed to be freaking out on him like he was one of the Beatles. I was like, oh my God, you're John Jansen. He was like, I'm with Shannon. I'm like, I don't care. I'd like a picture with you, sir. Also, I was thinking about OC Memories today, and Shannon's daughters. Do you guys remember? They are the original Haim, the band. They had the band many seasons ago called Lock, which stood for Ladies of Rock. And their hit single was never a hit or a single, was called Dreamcatcher. And it was like, Dreamcatcher, Dreamcatcher. And Shannon would be like, you've got to do it this way. You got to put in some Poison, some Bret Michaels. You got to be Def Leppard. Because Shannon, that's her dream. She loves 80s rock. Remember her dressed as Bret Michaels at that costume party? Oh, classic OC. But I think now is a time for these girls to come together and headline Coachella, or headline, or maybe not a headline, maybe DJ James Kennedy headlines. We get a whole just Bravo-Cella where it's every musical. Could you imagine that? A Bravo-Cella? You have Countess Luann. We'll let Erica Jane do a number. DJ James Kennedy, of course. Tom Sandoval. He can run concessions. Ariana can sing a song. Like, yeah, everybody. It's like a gigantic Bravo talent show. We get Simon Cowell and Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel was like, I've got to be a part of this. So Shannon Bedore's tagline is, in Orange County, I call the shots, and it's always tequila. I love taglines like this because it's like, I'm potentially an alcoholic. Yeah, she does like her tequila. Her and John, I've always said, I think they are that drinking couple, which, it's like one of those, those couples that start at like 3 p.m. They're like, well, it's dark somewhere. And then they just start sipping. I always get the vibe. Then Heather Dubrow. Heather has her family. her two sons, her two daughters. You got Terry. Terry's just always happy because his face is just plastered as a happy grin all the time. Terry, that house is like the house that Botched built. And then you got Heather kind of in this pose of like, yeah. Hers is, I live my life in HD, bright and more focused than ever. So, of course, HD, high definition. And I think that is a throw, like that's kind of a little hint that we're going to see some Heather Dubrow acting high definition. So, like, I think that's the TV thing. And yeah, like, I get it. You're type A. And then we got Emily looking hot in a gold dress. And then you got Shane, you got the two boys and the girl. What's her name? Penelope? What is Penelope? I don't know if I'm confusing her with the Kardashian kid. Anyways, hers is, if you want to waste my time, at least hand me a taco. I hate this one. I think we talked about this on Monday because I hate this because it's like, oh, I'm Emily. I eat. Like, I think that's the shit. I think there's so much more to Emily of like, ha ha ha, you better make sure I'm fed this entire hour. It's like, don't feed the animals except me, Emily. I need a trough. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Emily is so like, why do we? I get it. She fucking ate like a sandwich in a steam room once. Who cares? Who amongst us hasn't? Let that person throw the first sandwich. But until then, if you want to waste my time, at least hand me a taco. I feel like Shane like negged her and was like, yeah, why don't we do a taco line, Emily? I just think it's cute, but I think she's more than that. And then Gina, we have her two boys, her daughter, and then Travis in the background. And Gina looks great as well. And she goes, the difference between my past and present, well, that's just apples and oranges. Apples? What's the opposite of talented? What is that? That's me. So obviously that's because I'm from New York, but I'm also from Orange County. We're oranges, but apples. I don't know, you guys. And then we have the new girl, Jen. Jen has a huge family, plus Ryan is in her title card. This is her first one, and hers is, my core may be strong, but my resilience is stronger. The core, of course, because she's into yoga, and so she is tight all over. And also, Cut Fitness is where she met her new beau, Ryan. This is the thing I did keep wondering. I don't know if you guys keep wondering. She met Ryan at Cut Fitness, and Jen seems well-to-do. She has a yoga studio, very fancy. Like, was Cut Fitness, Cut Fitness, no offense to Cut Fitness, not that Cut Fitness is a person, I don't want to hurt Cut Fitness's feelings, but it didn't strike me as like the place where the richest of the rich go. Like, so did Jen go to Cut Fitness in hopes of becoming, like, to go on Real Housewives of Orange County someday? Because, like, she had her own yoga studio. Why was she going to Cut Fitness? Like, I wanted to know why exactly, because I feel like there would be a lot. I don't know the OC, but I imagine they have more gyms than just. And my friend Millie lives there, and she goes to this gym that she sees Terry Dubrow at, and which is another weird thing because you think Terry Dubrow has a home gym. Why is he going out and working out? But she'll send me photos of Terry in there, and which I shouldn't really even be saying this. But I like was Cut Fitness like the thing? And if it was the thing, why did it eventually go out of business? Anyways, and then you got Tamra, and Tamra has Ryan, her son, fresh off of the set of Yellowstone. He's got his shit kickers on, his cowboy hat, his big old belt buckle. You got her horny mom who's living with them, and then you got Eddie. Eddie is like dressed like he's like, "What's up, yo? I'm Eddie." By the way, Bravo. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Bravo tweeted the other day of like, what is the gayest moment on Bravo? And it took every core of my being to not reply back with the bathtub scene with Tamra and Eddie. And by the way, I don't mean like gay in terms of homosexual. I just like it just was gay. It was very like the weirdest, cringiest scene to me in Bravo history. I think in the first episode of So Bad It's Good 3.5 years ago, I think I brought up that as a So Bad It's Good moment because I always just thought of that poor cameraman over the bathtub, just going like, oh, fuck, dude. He's like wearing cargo shorts. He's gassy. And he's like all of a sudden in a tight bathroom. And Eddie's like whipped off his pants, lit candles, put on some Enya, and like Tamara's like, let's get busy. The camera's guy's like, I'm not union. I do not make enough money for this. This is too much. But so Tamara's line is, take that, Freddie Mellencamp. I'm on TV again. No, it says, I might have been on pause, but now I'm ready to play. Now, supposedly, this was Dorinda's idea. She didn't steal it, but production gave it to her. I think that was the bit. But it's a great line because Tamara was another one that was put on pause, and now she's back. Tamara is back, and it doesn't seem like any time has passed. I did say, she's warming up into it, but she knows her way around this much better than most housewives at all. So it is good to have her back. So this episode is what is this called? It's like cutting out. It's called We Cut It Close. We Cut It Close, and then they put the D in parentheses. So We Cut It Closed, because Cut Fitness is going out of business. This is Eddie's pride and joy just going out of business. It sucks. I mean, you do wonder, like, what is Eddie going to do with his time? Because I thought this is what he worked for. We start off the episode with Shane and Emily talking in their backyard, and just like that scene with Schwartz and Katie and the secrets revealed of Vanderpump Rules, Gordo or Butters was like literally going to town on a pillow. Their dog, I mean, even more so, this dog is fucking a pillow. Like, I mean, this is like 50 Shades of Grey in the daylight with an animal and a pillow. I was like, shit, is this legal to be watching this? They keep cutting back and forth, and Shane's talking about like, you can't call when I'm in court. And this dog's just like, it's crazy. And then we cut to Shannon Bedore talking to her daughter, Stella, who is 18, and she is talking about spending some time abroad. And Shannon is like, what? It's a very quick scene, but I love when you can get Shannon already kind of just activated. Not like Lindsay Hubbard activated, but you can tell internally. Like, Shannon must hit an internal temperature of 200 degrees at least 30 times a day. And then we wind up at our favorite family, the Dubrows. And the Dubrows, you guys, they are all sitting around their dinner table, just all dressed. The parents dressed to the nines. The kids, they're all just having fun, joking, being a family unit. And their private chef, is cooking up some ribs just in this huge kitchen. And I sat there and was like, this is not anything that my mom always cooked or my dad was grilling. I guess the thing is, well, they're all able to sit around and talk to each other and communicate, but then they start talking just about the one daughter who's going to school is talking about that the pressure flow in the bathroom at their dorm isn't strong enough to her liking. So if they see a charge on their credit card for a nice hotel, it's because she needed a stronger water pressure flow. And Terry's like, what are you talking about? And she goes, how many times are you going to do that? And she's like, every day. And he's like, wait a second. Literally, if that had, like, my dad would have been like, I'm getting the belt. Are you kidding me? That will not be happening. Not on my watch. I didn't even have access to my parents' credit card. I did what every other college student did. I remember going on campus. Somebody talked me into getting a Sears card, screwed up my credit for the next 10 years because I went out and bought like a big sound system with $500 on my Sears card and learned how to get bad credit real quick. But the Dubrows, these kids, they all seem happy, right? They all seem happy, well adjusted, and I love how open. I mean, it goes without saying how open she is with her kids and her kids. We have the trans son, which was great. He's there smiling. It does seem like a well bonded family. So you can't dock points on that. But I got to tell you, they don't live in any kind of real world that I know. Like, everything is just so nice. And so, it's like, I mean, I had summer jobs, I had winter jobs, I had jobs all the time as a kid. And these, you can just tell these guys don't have that experience. And I'm really curious to see what they do with their lives. But I'm sure they're going to go far. Anyways, this big plate of fancy ribs gets thrown down on the table, which is hysterical to think of Heather Dubrow eating ribs. And she's like, I'm eating in a very particular way. And then Heather starts telling us that she's getting the acting bug. She's getting the itch. And that her and Terry, now that the kids are starting to leave, let alone there's two kids right next to them. We're like, what are you talking about, Mom? You're like you're going to leave? Because they're making inroads into moving. They're putting feelers out in Los Angeles. She's getting the acting bug again. She's like, I think there's a place for me in Los Angeles because, of course, it's her and Meryl Streep for me. Those are my top two favorite actors of all time. And I remember that one episode when she did Caught in Cleveland. I think that was in OC. I love how seriously Heather Dubrow takes everything, right? Everything has to be this way. I mean, I do want her as my life coach because I think she would buy me free shit, and she probably does know how to fix everything in anybody's life. But I like that she was like, I need to be an actor. We need a presence in LA, Terry. And they're going to do it. And they know enough people where I'm sure whatever they try to do at this point is going to be fine. Also, how much are they sold their house? She was on Watch What Happens Live afterwards. Like, how much would a house like that go for? And who moves in? Is it like a 300-person family? I mean, there were rooms in there that I was like, I could move in tomorrow and Terry would not even know I was there, right? So she's going to go, and I'm all for that because we have Taylor Armstrong this season as well as kind of like a friend of. And I think Taylor is not in the opening credits. She doesn't have a tagline, which is a shame. But Taylor's makeup is great. She's also dipping her toe into the acting pond. And I think that is just incredible for so many reasons. Oh, yeah. Her stage name, you guys, is Heather Page Kent. It's not Heather Dubrow. It's Heather Page Kent. And I'm like, we got to get a Lala Kent, Heather Page Kent. Can you imagine them in some kind of acting off or something? I would love to see it. Also, Heather in her talking head, she has this big like leopard, what is it? Like a tiger leopard skin one-piece jumpsuit. And she's like, yeah, we see old headshots of Heather. I have so many bad headshots, you guys. I shit you not. When I was in high school, I remember my mom, I think she had like a contact at the hotel she worked at, like, this guy's going to give you a free headshot. And we get these I got to dig them up somewhere. I think Maritza's seen them. And the last headshot, he was like, hey, you're funny, right? Do something funny. And I was like, what did do something funny in a headshot? And he goes, put your hands up near your face and smile. So there is a shot, you guys. If you do want to see it, let me know. Instagram me. If me with my hands on the side of my face, I have huge hands, I have big Arsenio Hall hands, and I have I think I have a Caesar cut. And I'm like, and I have the weirdest glasses. I look like if Dahmer was happy all the time. Like if Jeffrey Dahmer was like, that boy's happy all the time. I was like, yeah, it was like Showguire gone nuts. Oh, it was so embarrassing. And I was just like, you know those things in the moment where you're like, this can't be good. This can't be good. And he was like, yeah, that's it. That's the stuff. Give it to me. All right. All right. So anyways, Heather Dubrow, we need her back on our screens. And then we go over to Tamra. And Tamra, she's having a tough day. She's at Cut Fitness. The new cast member, Jen, comes in. And she makes Jen put on these, goggles because it's dangerous when they're taking apart Cut Fitness. There's so much probably just stray sweat and sawdust and sadness just flying around there. And I do remember when Cut Fitness, I saw the ads when they were closing that they were selling equipment. And it was one of those things, I think I told you, where I was like, oh my God, I just need one dumbbell from Cut Fitness. Like, would it be weird if I just requested to buy one dumbbell and I drove all the way to Orange County and Eddie was like, you're here to pick up the 20-pound? I'm like, you're damn right, Eddie Judge. I'm here. But I didn't do it because basically I'm lazy. And that's probably why I'm not around a lot of weights. So Jen lets us know that, this is a sentimental spot for her because this is where she met her guy, Ryan. And Cut Fitness does not seem that huge, even though they have pulled a U-Haul actually into the facility, and you see a lot of like stairmasters, cut fitness, cardio, unique training is the sign that we see. We see like a little like boxed sauna in the background, and then they have the glasses on because they're just sledgehammering the stucco walls or whatever. They're just busting it up. Very professional. But Tamara's also letting us know that she's doing a, say goodbye to Cut Fitness party. But she's also talking about the boat trip from last episode because Tamara had a little too much booze. She was trying to prove herself as a cast member and just freaked out on Shannon and was like, fuck a duck! Ah! And she says, listen, I was way too drunk. I didn't eat. Okay. I can't get like that again. And Jen is like, you need to extend an olive branch to this Shannon Bedore. Tamara's like, I know, I haven't been this hungover in so long, but I need to make up for this. And so, Jen's like, is Shannon coming on Friday? Because, you could do it then. And she's like, yeah, I think she is. And I do owe her an apology. And they're doing this whole scene on the back of an open U-Haul inside. Like I said, the U-Haul's inside Cut Fitness. It looks to be very sweaty. Everybody is very like dewy, like I am right now. And they're talking about this scene. But once again, it's this Tamara confiding in Jen, like Jen has confided in Tamara. But now they start talking about the problems with their relationship because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Tamara brings up that she didn't find out about Jen and Ryan's relationship from Jen. She found out from Ryan because they went on some trip with Eddie. They went to Cabo, which, like, what's going on with these people? Like, they're all just going to Cabo. They show a clip of them on like a private plane with Ryan. Like, these people, like the wealth and I don't understand. Like, I hate to say it, but it always like seems fairly reminiscent of swingers. Just of like, hey, let's see each other's privates, huh? But Tamara is letting Jen know that she's very bummed that she thought, listen, you're my friend, Jen. Why didn't I hear about your relationship with Ryan from you? Why did I have to hear it from Ryan? And for me, I completely understood why. It's because I think personally that Jen was very ashamed, even though she really dug Ryan. She knew that she was allegedly cheating, and she was probably ashamed of that and trying to figure out the best way to let people in her life know. Or the other thing is she just doesn't really like Tamara at all, which is a possibility as well. But I love Tamara because now Tamara has this in her back pocket. It's almost a little bit like Margaret Joseph. Like, she has this kind of ammo that she can use against Jen, and she does use it. There doesn't seem to be a lot of compassion that Tamara has for people. She'll have them in those one-on-one scenes, and then when she gets in front of a group, that's completely gone, and you are literally on your own. But that's why I find Jen a fascinating character, because she obviously gave into this love, this new relationship, did something that goes against her religion, all of these things, and you can tell that part of it eats her up. And I find that truly fascinating in any kind of character, that kind of internal fight that they have. So those were the first couple of scenes before our first commercial break. Is everybody good? We good? Okay. So when we come back, we finally get a little bit of a Gina scene. And these Gina scenes, it's her and Travis, the daughter's running around. And Gina is she is studying for a real estate test. Yeah, I'm studying for a real estate test. I got to do online tests first. So Travis is like quizzing her. It's like real estate law. It's very exciting, folks. We could do an entire, like, move over Kim Kardashian taking the baby bar. We got Gina taking a real estate test. Yeah. And Travis is always soft-spoken. He's like, I think you're good. I think you can do this, babe. All right. And Gina's like, we're partners on every level. The goal is to provide for our family so we can move into a bigger house. Travis is going to be an amazing real estate agent. And, we can sell really cute ensembles. And then we can go into bougier homes and we can sell them to people. We can get up to Heather Dubrow status. Then Travis also points out, he's like, babe, there's a spray tan all over these pages. Which I heard that and I was like, I need that for my reality show museum as well. Basically, Travis does a little quiz. She does not get the answer right. amazing. Then we cut to Gina in that flashback of that first episode when she had like that lunch with Emily and Jen, and she's talking. Gina's storyline is that she is bugged that Jen potentially cheated on her marriage with the guy Ryan. Like that's her storyline, because essentially we are supposed to believe that it triggers Gina because Gina's past relationship, she was cheated on. And I always think that's a slippery slope in terms of a storyline when you depend on somebody else's storyline for it to activate you because of your past. Lisa Rinna is probably the most successful of that until the last season. Which, by the way, did you guys see? Lisa Rinna's on American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy cast me. We saw pictures. Congratulations, Lisa Rinna. That actually is a cool show. And I saw American Horror Stories, and I was like, oh my God, is that the TV show? Or are they actually doing a documentary called American Horror Stories? And it's just about Lisa Rinna. But no, that's a good show. I'm excited because you know already the person Lisa Rinna is going to play. It's going to be some, very intense, uptight Lisa Rinna type. Anyways, Gina's like, I give Jen credit for opening up about a past, but it's uncomfortable because infidelity is something that I have a very close relationship with. And we cut to her and Emily talking about her past relationship. For me, this scene just doesn't do a lot for me. I don't know if you guys felt differently. Once again, Gina, a very likable character. I just, I don't know how much longer she can subsist with just being offended by other people's storylines. Now we get to my favorite, Shannon Bedore falling out of her car. She cannot even come out of the car. She's like, I'm John Jansen. I need to help you get out of this vehicle. Come here. See, like she can't even balance herself on yoga the first episode. And then the second episode, she's like spilling out of the car. And John Jansen, like this is daytime. John Jansen's like, I got you, Shannon. Come on, bud. Let's go. This girl, like Lucy, I love Lucy. If Lucy was still alive, she'd be like, Shannon Bedore is one of the best physical comedians of our day and age. Just truly, it's effortless. And she's fighting John. She's like, I got it, John. I got it. And she just comes out. John's like looking around in traffic. They're at Earthstone Interiors, and we see all of these crystals. John Jansen comes in. He's just wearing his Top Gun aviators. He takes them off. He's like, crystals. And the crystal lady's like, how are you guys? And Shannon's like, wow, you got some pretty things. I've been working with an energy healer because I need some protection. I take in other people's energy. I've always been a crystal fan. And she's in a talking. It's like anything that can bring me good energy. And then we go to a flashback where she, on her first season, let people know that she had people put crystals into her teeth. And then another time when she's like, I had a feng shui lady come and just put crystals everywhere. And Shannon lets us know in the talking that I still do have those crystals in my teeth. And she's like, they're healing me. They're healing me. And I hope they are because, when I'm buried, they're not going to be anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. It's so intense. Everything she says, because it's another just the internal struggle of Shannon Bedore is wildly fascinating to watch. And John is just, I'm hoping John has like got a buzz on right now because he's just like, where the hell? Shannon is a wild, kooky lady. I never thought me, John Jansen, would be in a crystal store. Look at this. John Jansen in a crystal store. My God, I'm with just a hippie lady. That's who she is. And so they're walking around. They're asking about John's sign. Like, is he a water sign? And he's like, yep, I'm a water guy. That's right. I'm a water guy. And then Shannon's like, John and I are in a good place. We're over the 3-year mark now. And that's in a talking head. I like that her talking heads about John are like, whatever you've heard in Orange County is not true. John and I are good. We are over the 3-year mark. We're good. Stop asking about John. And John asks, how does fire and water mix? And, she's like, do you put my fire out? She lets us know she does want to be married again, but she doesn't want to rush into it. John still lives at his home. And she's like, there can be a bit of chaos in the Bedore household. As my ex called us, the house of the screaming women. The fire needs to keep burning. It's just, it's so intense. And it makes me sad because I think Shannon Bedore is such a treasure. I think she is my favorite character on Real Housewives of Orange County right now. And I just feel sad that John, after this, just their romance ended, even though they still hang out all the time. So you never know. But she also lets us know that sometimes John just wants to be alone on the water. And that reminds me of that Ben Affleck, which I talked about in the last episode, of just him staring at the ocean with that big old ugly phoenix back tattoo. It's just John Jansen, old man in the sea, just John Jansen looking out at the water. Where is that water going to take old John Jansen? It's just, and she's saying it. And I'm like, you look at her, she's just so intense. He's just out to sea sometimes. He's just out to sea. Anyways, they're looking for the ultimate protection. Shannon needs emotional healing, protection. And, and then she's like, John, oh my God, Tamra's FaceTiming me. And he's like, really? She's like, yeah. He's like, are you going to take it? Well, I think I have to. I think I have to. Of course, this is the whole point of the scene. So Tamra picks up. There's not even, I hate when people don't wear their AirPods. It's like the whole crystal store now has to hear your call with Tamra. And then Tamra pops on in full glam. It looks like she's got extensions in. And she's like, I'm so sorry about the other night. I was so emotional on the water. I'm going through a lot. I'm not making excuses for myself. I have to hang out with Freddie Mellencamp. I don't want to do this anymore. It's just a lot. And Shannon's just like, I appreciate you apologizing. I hope that kind of stuff isn't, said to me again, because it's just a lot for me to take in. And Terrence's like, I don't want to go backwards. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for you. I just want to move forward. And what that looks like, I think we'll figure out in time. And Shannon's like, I'm just so conflicted right now because I feel like I'm almost back to where I was 3 years ago, where we're not addressing my hurt. She says this in a talking head. And the experience that I had, because I've apologized for any hurt that I caused her. And are we ever going to come back to me? And then Tamara's like, anywho, Cut Fitness having a huge party on Friday. Would love you to be there. This whole time, John Jansen's in the background. You got to watch it just for John Jansen, just looking around at the crystals. He's like, God, these people and their rocks. You can just tell he's like, these knuckleheads. Oh my God. The whole store can hear this, by the way. So Tamara hangs up, and Shannon's like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah, I heard a lot of that. She's like, sorry. And they hug in the crystal store. Sorry, you guys, I'm just getting over being sick. So that's why all the weird sounds. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm so sorry. Anyways, she's like, I don't want to go, John, but I don't want to be an asshole. And John's like, well, if you're not going to go, you're going to be a topic of conversation. And then, Shannon's like, okay, back to good energy, And that's the end of that scene, which I just thought there were so many little fun things. Any Shannon Bedore, John Jansen thing, I'm there for. Now we come to Emily. Emily, I believe, is over at Shane's parents, and she's got the kids over there. They're fighting. And, talking to the mom, Emily's talking about her relationship. And to me, I just thought the big takeaway was Emily does this talking head in this beautiful blue dress. And I just thought she looked really hot. Don't tell Sutton Strack, because Sutton Strack's my girl. I thought Emily might be my new girl. Like, Emily might be the one right now. I don't know. That scene was whatever. And then we cut to Heather Armstrong. We get a little knock, knock, knock. And you got Heather Dubrow. She's like, thanks for having me over. Your home is so beautiful. Which, by the way, Heather Dubrow usually brings a huge gift, and I didn't see one. But Heather Dubrow is over there because Taylor Armstrong accepted a part in a movie that shoots in Oklahoma. And we talked about this one day earlier on the boat. And she's like, Heather, I'm going to do a role. I would love to get your advice. And she was like, I would love to. So Heather is coming over in conjunction with Taylor's acting coach, who is a Broadway actor, to work on this role that she's going to go film as a TV anchor. But she also offered, I guess, Heather a part in the movie, which, if you know the acting biz, that just usually doesn't happen. You're not allowed to just give out roles. And it usually kind of means if you are able to give out roles, you're not working. You're like on a D-level production. It's not like a real production. And that happens a lot. Work is work. So you can't like, but Heather's an actress. Heather is the Meryl Streep in her head. So she would never take something that Taylor Armstrong is just offering. Like this is beneath Heather Dubrow. But Heather's like, you should come. It would be fun. And I love Taylor because, she's probably a little newer to acting. So she doesn't know what this means and what that means. And probably she has a low level agent and she's just excited to be doing something she never thought she would be acting. So exciting. So Heather is like, I can't just come. I thought you were joking. Are you serious? I can't be doing that. And Taylor's like, I've known the director for a very long time. That's how I got cast. And I guess she sent Heather a text of like, we're on the set right now. This is your office. And then we get this whole thing of Heather saying, listen, I thought you were joking. This is not how productions work. You got to get contacted by production. There's a director. Then what's the role? You got a casting director. And all these little Comic Sans little scripts pop up in her talking head. I loved that they use Comic Sans, which is like just the worst font that has ever been known to man. That and the font for Avatar. But it's like, what's the role? What's the pay scale? I mean, is it union? Are there reshoot dates? I mean, is it non-union? We got to figure these things out. This is how the industry works. A lot of things need to happen. It's not like, hey, my dad's got a barn. Let's put on a show. Classic Heather Dubrow. But Taylor's like, have you ever been to Oklahoma? It's amazing out there. And Taylor is just a bright, shining light, but also one of those people, not unlike Shannon Medore, that I feel like if you push her in the wrong direction, just 5 degrees, she will completely explode on you. Now, the acting coach comes in, and I used to do this job, and it's a tough job because basically you're taking somebody's role or helping them with an audition and kind of leading them in the direction of how it should go. And Heather's watching this, and I think she's reading along with Taylor, and Taylor is giving it the old college try. She's not horrible, right? But the acting coach is like, hey, we got to get your voice down in your diaphragm, right? We don't want it up here in the throat. We want it to breathe. The sound comes from the belly, right? We need you to breathe from your vagina area. Basically, that's what she says. And then she starts saying like, it's like, we need your breath from the hoo-ha. And Heather Dubrow's like, of course, we all know that as an actor. And then she starts using some weird examples. She's like, feel your breath coming from down there, right? And Taylor's like, I feel like I need some balls. I feel like I need balls. And then Heather's like, you need to warm up all different parts of your lips, your tongue, right? All the sound is coming from everywhere. And then the acting teacher's like, they say that blowjobs help keep your throat open. And I said, what fucking acting teacher is like, you know what that's like? Just sloppy blowjobs. And the Heather is like, listen, I do not tell Terry about this. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, if this Terry Dubrow isn't getting at least one BJ a week, what are we even? I mean, this guy provides for that whole family, lets them live in an airplane hangar. I mean, I got a guy making ribs every night, sending these kids to college, not having to do a damn thing in the world. And if Terry Dubrow ain't getting a BJ, what are we doing? I mean, like, Heather, come on. Don't poo-poo a BJ for old TD. I just like that was potentially like, we don't want to encourage BJs. Okay, so that's another commercial break. And then when we come back, when do we get Vicky Gunvalson, by the way? I know she comes, I think, on one of the vacation episodes. So now we're at Cut Fitness, and they're all set up for the big finale for Cut Fitness. And it looks like they put a lot of money into this end party for the end of the business, which I'm like, they put so much money in. I'm like, maybe keep some of this money and just keep the business open. Like, well, how much money are we shelling out here? There's all this signage and like lights. And Eddie, you guys, Eddie is in these like white shorts. He's in a button-up white shirt, and the shirt's open, and it's got like a big pink tie that is not like really loose. And it reminded me of when you went to like the 8th grade school dance as a guy, and you're like, I don't know what to wear. And your mom is like, okay, it would be cool if you wore a tie, like a really loose, bright tie, and you button a couple. He looks like an 8th grader at a school dance trying to be cool. We meet Taylor's dude, who seems like a nice guy. And Taylor says they've been married for almost 8 years, been a rock. Plus, he's pretty hot. I'm not into guys. I don't know if he's pretty. Did you guys think he was pretty hot? Well, anyways, Jen and Ryan get there. You got Terry and Heather. Terry and Heather walk in looking like they're going to actually save Cut Fitness. They look rich. They're like Terry's in a fitted suit with like one of those pocket squares, bringing in bottles of champagne. And Terry's like, it's great. It's great to cosplay with you guys in a different tax bracket. Shane comes out of the car with Emily and spanks Emily on the ass and just like looks around. Shane is another one of my favorites to just watch in the background. I would love to. Shane would be like, he would never do a podcast because Shane has a real job. And I truly think he does not give a rip about doing any of this, which I love. Gina was like, Ryan, the new guy. When I saw him, I heard so much about him. I thought he'd be taller. I thought everybody talks about him. I thought he'd be taller. I was expecting there to be a little more something to stature to him. Everybody's having fun. And then we see Ryan, Tamara's son. We find out he's off of the ranch from his favorite show, Yellowstone. He's at this party. Tamara is talking about the last time we were in there. This is, Cut Fitness seems like it's in like a storage warehouse of some sort. I don't know if there's some kind of, but we flash back to that party way back in the day. Remember that with Jesus jugs? And they were talking about the Xanax or something. It was wild. But I was thinking about that. How many parties in OC seem to be held at some sort of warehouse of some sort, which I've not really hung out a lot. It's like they have warehouses or they have the Quiet Woman. Those are like the two locations that are in OC. But Heather's having a scene with Tamara. It's like, this is an incredible undertaking. You're an amazing business person, and I'm excited for your next adventures. How are you an amazing business person if literally this is the close of your business is closing? And Eddie just seems lost. He's like, I'm excited for the next chapter. I don't know what I'm going to do but I'm very excited. We see Ryan in the cowboy hat, not Ryan, Jen's boyfriend, but Ryan, Tamara's son, hugs Heather. And she's like, well, you look great, you Mr. Rancher. And then, Heather tries to run away from him as quick, and Gina hugs him. And Gina's like, sexiness, wow. And Tamara's like, he works on a ranch. Ryan started working on a ranch 2 years ago, Tamara says, and he absolutely fell in love with it. At some point, I was like, is this a ranch or is this some kind of sort of like a prison, like off-campus program? We see shots of this with him taking care of the horses and Tamara. But Tamara lets us know that Ryan definitely struggled for years to find himself. And we have a montage from 2008 onwards of all of the experiences that Ryan has gone through. But Tamara says now he has found his true niche in the world. Ryan and Sarah, his ex, share custody of Ava, their daughter, and she's just a very happy 7-year-old, which I really, really hope that is the case. Ryan's back. Yeah, Ryan's back. Anyways, Tamara's mom comes in with her new younger boyfriend. Her mom, Sandy, who lives with Tamara and Eddie now and bangs her younger. When I say younger boyfriend, he doesn't look younger, so I guess that's just like a birth certificate thing. It looks like a very interesting couple, and the thought that they keep talking about them having sex sometimes makes me queasy, but the thought of me having sex makes me queasy. It's just what it is. So then we have, who comes up next? We got Jen and we got John Jansen, and we got John Jansen and Shannon Medore. He's like, come on, babe, let's go. And the sign says, we cut it closed, which is the title of this episode. And John tries to explain to Shannon the joke. She's like, oh, we cut it close. Well, this is very nice. Okay. And we see everybody react. And she's like, where's Tamara? And Tamara, there's like a shot of Tamara looking at Shannon. And it's like this kind of intense moment, even though it's really not an intense moment. Shannon beelines for the bar. She's like, Casa Amigos Anejos, por favor. And they immediately go to the tequila. And she's like, okay, let's go. And then Tamara's like, Shannon, you look amazing. Oh my God, you look so skinny. They literally just saw each other 2 days ago on the water. But she's like, oh, Tamara, you've lost at least, Shannon, you've lost at least 30 pounds. You look amazing. And Tamara grabs her face and it's like, oh, I'm so glad you came. I'm so sorry. I was beating myself up the next day. I was. And Shannon was like, I know that. I know that. No, Shannon, it was just a lot of emotions. I didn't eat and all this in the drink. And I took it out on you. And I apologize. And I'm probably going to do it 1,000 more times this season. You didn't deserve that. And she's like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Very closed up. And she's like, okay, okay. Okay. And John is probably just like, okay, okay. This looks good. This looks good. So Shannon loves an apology, and Shannon has been apologized to by multiple people on this show time and time again. And yet nobody ever the same thing keeps happening to Shannon again and again. It's like every time she opens up her heart, she immediately regrets it, and it just happens. It's for the eternity. It's like Sisyphus pushing up that rock and then just falling down, pushing up that rock up the hill again. And then, of course, we cut to a commercial break where we see Shannon Bedore's ShipStation commercial. When I open a small business, I love using ShipStation. So anyways, we're back in this scene. They're still apologizing to each other. Everybody's having drinks, as you do at the close of a gym. Shane is meeting Ryan, Jen's new boyfriend. That's fun. And then Gina is talking to Heather Dubrow and was like, did you see Jen's post the other day? She was at yoga and she was like, hey, I'm so thankful this yoga studio is still open. Kind of, it felt braggy. It felt braggy because this place was closing down. Why would you do that? It hurts. Why would you do that if your friend's business was closing? And Heather's like making these faces like, oh, I see what you're saying here. Oh my goodness. That's a little tone deaf. It is. And Gina, I just feel like this is such a stupid storyline. Like, okay, oh, come on. It's like, I just think it's weird. They just, it feels weird. And Heather's like, let's not say anything about that, even though they're fully on camera. Now, what do you do at the end of, if a fitness facility in a warehouse is shutting down, what would be the ideal finger food? And if you said hibachi, you are right, because they set up a full hibachi in this warehouse space, and an open fire in this facility seems completely illegal. I don't know how they do it in Orange County. Eddie is giving a little speech of like, this place I built for 9 years. It was gut-wrenching because these people aren't just clients. They're friends, the equipment, the facility, the gym, anyone could do that. So thank you so much for the love and support. And for giving me the opportunity to help. And he's got his big old pink tie and his button. He's like, I feel good about what I was doing. So thank you. All right. And that's the end, and everybody claps. But I'm just like, I was just like, what is Eddie going to do? Like, what? We got to get Eddie doing something. And then the hibachi guys come out, and it's like, yeah. I'm like, and then they fire. It's just open fire. Gina's eyebrows get singed off. It's truly insane. Poor Shane goes up in just a huge ball of fire. And it doesn't truly make the hibachi thing. They're throwing like little things in Travis's mouth. He's catching them. Shannon's fascinated. She's like, you're catching that. You're very talented with the food. It's very amazing. And then everybody tries to catch little hibachi, meats and vegetables in their mouth. Nobody can really do it. It's a skill that only Travis has. But also one of the weirdest, and this is another thing I love about OC, is like, yeah, of course a hibachi grill in a closed warehouse space where you used to have Cut Fitness. It was either going to be a gym or a hibachi kind of restaurant anyways. So anyways, they're all talking. And then Gina's like, hey, what did you post the other day, Jen? Well, it seemed like you were celebrating your yoga when this place was closing down. And Jen was like, what? Like, who are you? And it's like, I'm Gina. I've been on the show for many seasons. Her business is closing. Should we be bringing it up? And we flash back to the scene where Heather's like, let's keep that under wraps. Don't say anything. But Gina's like, I literally am only studying for a real estate license. I got to make some magic happen so I can actually move out of my casita someday. She doesn't live in a casita. She doesn't. So anyways, Gina doesn't even drink anymore. So this is just, she's really trying to make something happen, which I guess we should encourage. But Jen's like, listen, I don't even do the social media for my place, but I've been told we need to do more TikToks and reels and where it's like hallelujah music, because remember, she's very religious, and then put it into a story. And then you're going to jump back up because like COVID. Anyway, she's explaining the art behind social media, which is always great to hear housewives do. And she was like, it was a post about my business that we're still going. And Tamara's like, it was yesterday. I posted it yesterday. And Tamara's like, I'm so happy that you're in business, but I see what Gina's saying. I think Jen has opened a can of worms for herself. Tamara says, Or actually Heather says that in a talking head. I think, she has opened a can of worms. This is like DEFCON 4, and she takes it up to DEFCON 1, which DEFCON 4 would be the high. Anyways, who knows? And then they do this nuclear explosion, which was a very interesting OC choice. Move over Oppenheim, right? Real Housewives of Orange County is coming. But Tamra, this is a very classic Housewives. Something very simple. It's just a social media post. But it's early in the season. They're like, we got to make shit happen. So everybody jumps on this idea of like, we need to be mad about this. And Tamra's like, listen, okay, this business, we had to close this business down. And Jen's like, I would never knock you for closing this business. No, I know, Jen. Yeah, you do know. Shame on you, Tamra. And in a talking head, Jen's like, for you to even question that I would make a post against your business is so hurtful and so wrong. And if anybody sitting here in this friend group, she now says in the scene, has supported your business, it's me. I mean, truthfully, Jen supported her business so much that she actually started having sex with one of the clients. So anyways, Tamara's like, oh. And then Jen goes, Gina, this is crap. This is crap. And she's like, you posted it. It's your social media. What are you coming at me for? You posted it. And Tamara's like, maybe it's bad timing. And Jen's like, yeah, I'll own that. I apologize. But I totally, it's bad timing. But Gina, for sure, let's chalk it up to just bad timing. And Gina's like, okay, yeah, let's, yeah. Emily's like, this is a little out of character for Gina to be taking such a black and white stance. And I love even Emily's like, this is not Gina. From my vantage point, Emily says that. And from the look on Jen's face, it just seems to me that it was just an innocent TikTok that she made about her business. Now, what would be a fun little subplot is if they pass around a phone and have any of those other ladies try to make a TikTok, because they all have social media managers, and Gina probably just has her kids do it, but like they don't even know what TikToks probably are, except that it's a place that they can advertise themselves. Emily says Gina was just thinking about herself, which we all do. Very forgiving. And then we start looking at the macaroons, which are, decorated with the Cut Fitness logo, because of course. We also talk once again about Ryan meeting Jen at this gym. This truly seems to be this topic of conversation. Tamara brings it up again. Now Tamara's on the warpath. Tamara is talking dirt about Jen in front of all the other girls dating Ryan, that it got messy. This is really throwing Jen under the bus in front of all the girls. And Gina's like, yeah, it's what I heard. I heard you were making out in this car. And Emily's like, I heard the same thing. In the background, we see Ryan with his big cowboy hat, not Jen's Ryan, but Tamara's Ryan. He's like taking pictures of the desserts in his big cowboy hat, whatever. And, it's just weird. It's like this girl's private business and they're hopping on it like it's like this little piece of cheese. Tamara starts explaining that she was in a bad marriage, and Jen's like, it wasn't a bad marriage. It just wasn't the right marriage. We were in an unhappy marriage. And, we had allowed ourselves. And then everyone's like, no, wait. Well, listen. I'm not sitting there. And Gina walks away saying she's not going to sit there and pretend that infidelity is okay. Like, why is Gina going this hard? It truly is fascinating, and I don't think it's going to end well for Gina. It's just not Gina's strong suit. So Gina's over there talking to Ryan Travis. She's like, it bothers me. It bothers me. You got to go over and tell her, Shane. And now Emily is talking to Jen. She's like, can I ask you a question? When you met Ryan, was your husband, was he living in Oklahoma and working for your family, or was he in Orange County? It's like, he was here. And then I was like, so did you want your husband to go live in Oklahoma because you had something going on with Ryan and it was easier if he was there? And she's like, no. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, had you slept with Ryan when your husband went to Oklahoma? And she's like, no, Ryan and I we weren't nothing. And Tamara's looking at, Heather like, Tamara's looking at Taylor Armstrong like, oh, bullshit. And Jen's like, don't look like that. Because Jen thinks Tamara's her friend. Tamara's no one's friend. And now Jen is whispering Tamara's whispering in Jen's ear. She's like, just be honest. And Jen's like, I am. And Tamara's like, I think you should be honest. And Jen's like, be honest about what? In a talking head, she's like, are you trying to imply that I was sleeping with Ryan? Well, I wasn't. We were just over the clothes. Yeah. Would he touch my nipples? Sure. Would he tickle my butt? Sure. No, under the clothes. And then Tamara in a talking head goes, Ryan started to come into our gym during the pandemic, which I don't want to, Listen, I just don't remember my gym being open during the pandemic, but listen, they do it differently in Orange County. Who am I to judge? But I guess Ryan started coming in during the pandemic. She said it was April or May. And then by October, her husband caught them in a car together. And then in our talking head, Jen goes, I met Ryan. There's no sex in the car or in the parking lot. And then Tamara, back to her, she's like, I feel like Jen tells different stories to different people, but I went through it all with her. And then back in the scene, Jen goes, it wasn't like, Dad, will you hire Will so I can manipulate the situation here, Emily? To be honest with you, it sucks having your ex live in another state. It does. And then Emily's like, all right, I'm done interrogating you. Which, by the way, I want Shane, the licensed lawyer, to come in of like, let me have this witness. And Tamara's like, the situation is probably a lot more salacious than what she is letting on to. Or Emily says that in a talking head. She's just got to get it out because that's what I fucking do. I'm going to get it out of her, Emily says. It's so wild. And then Heather and Gina talk a little bit about Max and Nikki going to college. And she's like, they're twins. It's going to be so hard for them. I love when they act like twins. It's like a symbiosis. Like, if he hits his thumb, her thumb hurts. Anyways, they're talking, Heather's just kind of like judging the party. Terry's just walking around awkwardly in his fitted suit. And then they have this cut fitness cake, which has like a 10-pound dumbbell on it. And Eddie is trying to cut the cake, but he starts just pulling it apart. Tamara gives another speech about the ups and downs of owning a business and my fucking weird husband, because he's tearing apart the cake. We're going to cut the cake. And then you guys, they just start throwing the cake. They're just going crazy with the cake. And then Ryan, Tamara's son, takes out a gun. No. We see all the cameramen as Tamara runs around with like cake on her face, and just everybody is having a good old time. It's cute. It's fun. And then Gina's like, fuck you, Tamara. Don't get cake on me. Next week, you guys, they're going to Montana. They're in a cowboy boot store. We see cowboy hats. We see the beautiful open Montana air. We see them cheersing champagne. We see horses. We see Taylor there. And then we see them go into this like little RV looking for bears. We see them riding like a bull. Shannon says she's not good at the bull because she has a bony vagina, which if next week's episode isn't called I Have a Bony Vagina, what are we even doing here? John's like, that's my bony vagina, damn it. And then we have Taylor saying to Tamara about giving Heather Dubrow the script, and that Heather kind of laughed it off because she's a little Miss Prissy. And she left the fucking script on the table, Taylor says. And Tamara's like, oh, shit. And then Heather, we see in another scene, getting into a fight with Tamara, talking about, you don't talk about my career. And they look like they're all in like kind of a saloon and like little like bustiers. Anywho, that was the end of this episode 3 of this season of Real Housewives of Orange County. Thank you guys. Let me know if you want me to keep recapping this show. Anyways, have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you very soon. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, watch the other videos. If you're listening to this, thank you. Make sure you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. 5 stars. Wish me luck on my trip, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.